we decided to, first of all, establish a coalition in order to understand that we have this diversity of cultures within our community, of different national communities from the continent. And what we have been able to do so far really is to develop a sense of shared vision, to make sure that there's a very diverse community, which is often found it difficult to express its own aspirations as a collective force. It's reflected in work that we do. Let me give you some examples. When we started talking about coming together, the most important issue that came up was why. And the main reason is that there's no way that we can really achieve empowerment and full integration here unless we learn to work together as Africans. And that the fact of the matter is that when I step out there, nobody's going to see me as a Sierra Leonean. And of course, if I don't open my mouth, I could be the baddest brother from the south side of Chicago too. But that's another story we're going to. But the key is that we recognize that in spite of the challenges from the 80s, 90s, when the idea of us working together took root, we had to do something. And the reason is that we are at a better place today with the UAO than we were just 5 years ago. In the sense that we do have a seat at the table. In some instances we have to fight to have that seat, but that's part of it. You got to raise hell while they're smiling. The reason for that is that you want to make sure that people understand that your own experience is valuable and that you deserve a seat at that table. The only way you can do that is when you come together. And in that way, we can foster a sense of cohesiveness that can really empower us and, of course, make us feel well integrated here. Integration has to come from within the community itself. It is not something we legislate. If it was that, it would have been okay. But I can tell you that we've been the most excluded community for most discussions until recently. You know, even in discussions about immigrant issues, many folks never use the word African. You know, we're really not part of the lexicon. And even the research that was done from universities talked essentially about other experiences. The African immigrant experience was never part of that. We have changed that, and I think that is helping us become more and more rooted here. And my hope is that as we continue this collective experiment here, it will inspire Africans on the East Coast, the West Coast, and in the South to really understand that coming together as a collective is how we can have a seat at the table. And once we have a seat at the table, we must also remember that we have to build solidarity with other communities. Because that's really the way that I think as immigrant communities we can feel part of the society, not just as a legislative action, which is fine, but really as a social fact on the ground. And so we are really at the point today that we've never been at. It's been a lot of work, but it is testament to the collective effort of all the different leaders in the African community, being very intentional that we have to create a space and a voice for ourselves here.
Thank you. And then for your last